Do you think the holiday season has become too consumer driven? I'll admit that sometimes I get so frustrated with the commercialism and all of the ads and how much we're pushed to just buy and give around Christmas. Hi, my name is Greg Simpson. I'm a minister in the United Church of Canada, and we're in the midst of a conversation about Christmas and Advent and all of the traditions and things that are part of it. A few days back in the video about gift giving, I stopped short of really digging into the commercialism side of the conversation. We looked at the Magi and the Nativity story and speculated on whether their gifts might be the beginnings of Christmas gift giving. But of course, there's the ancient Roman traditions around Saturnalia that had gift giving as well. But the traditions that those sparked were very much about small gifts. But today it seems like we're competing for who can give the biggest gift, who can show off their wealth just by having more and more presents under the tree. When did that become part of our tradition? Because it's been around long enough that to me, it feels like that's the way it's always been. But as we dig a little deeper, we realize that that's not as old as it might seem. In fact, the really extravagant gifts didn't start showing up until the Victorian era. So this is like 1830s through to 1900, in that range. We've got the Industrial Revolution, which is building a very successful middle class who have money that they never had before, and they kind of want to show it off in certain ways. As well, we've got Queen Victoria herself, who's kind of pictured as being a family values sort of person. And the gift giving of that family, I mean, it's the Queen, of course they're wealthy. It became sort of a standard that people looked up to. But there are several other things that play into this as well. The mechanisms around printing kept getting faster and less expensive, and it became easier and more cost-effective to produce advertising, whether that's in newspapers or catalogs. And along with that, businesses that had things to sell could now afford to let more people know about it. You mix that with a middle class who wanted to buy, wanted to spend the money they had, wanted to show off what they had. What better way than to wrap it up in fancy boxes, stick it under the Christmas tree, and make a big fuss about it. And now here we are a couple hundred years later, and the gift giving part is such a huge piece of Christmas. People who have no relationship whatsoever with Christ, with the Christian roots, they've got a Christmas tree. This is so far beyond any religious thing. It's become a social and a cultural thing. Now, if I'm completely honest, I'll admit that sometimes I blame commercialism for all that's wrong in this world, and I'm not letting it off that easy. But the reality is that there is a real generosity at play here as well. The gift giving comes from generous roots. And we continue to do that, even if sometimes the selfishness and the braggery and the pride becomes part of it as well. So this Advent season, if you're feeling overwhelmed with lists and malls and online shopping and all of the things that build up the tension around giving, remember that this is an action of generosity. Center yourself in the generosity that makes the most sense for you, and maybe step away from the commercial need to just put your money in the pocket of some retailer. There are an awful lot of ways that you can show your generosity to the people you love, or maybe even to organizations and people around you who are in desperate need, especially at this time of year. And if we do that, then we get to take back a little bit of the generosity that has been part of the Christmas story for the first 1800 years. We don't have to let the last couple hundred years define how we act now. Let's continue to be generous, but let the capitalism take care of itself. Thank you so much for watching this morning. If you've missed any previous videos, you can click over there, or maybe you can subscribe so you get all the new ones. I love you all. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.